important. At least I believe it's going to be something that doesn't necessarily, it keeps you motivated, but at the same time, not just motivation. You want to just have motivation, you want to have discipline. So we say motivation, the mindset. Okay, so here's a question that we want to pose. Why do some people become wealthy while others stay stuck financially for decades? Another question, is becoming a millionaire more about intelligence or mindset? And another question is, why do two people have the same opportunities but end up with completely different lives? Well, and that all goes back to having the mindset. And some people are very dedicated with their mindset, whether it's to become a millionaire or to become a teacher or to become, the sultan of whatever, or become, governor or whatever it is. It comes down to mindset. So mindset is very important. So we'll cover the first question. Why do some people become wealthy while others stay stuck financially for decades? Now, that becomes your motivation. That deals a lot with your motivation. What are you deciding to do? What choices you make? So the choices you make in life are going to be heavily, heavily impacted by your decisions as far as what's behind you, who's with you, who you surround yourself with, your environment, all those things. Say if you're in an environment where everybody does drugs, you're probably eventually going to start doing drugs yourself. Say you're in an environment where everybody is working as, construction, you're probably going to be in construction. Say you're in an environment where everybody is in real estate, you're probably going to be a real estate agent or something like that. So it just depends on where you are as far as your environment. Now, a big thing I hear a lot of people say is, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. That is so important. That is so true. It's like, I know when I want to get to a certain level or learn something, say you want to be an actor, you're probably going to want to go hang out with the actors. Say you want to be a truck driver, you're going to go hang around truck drivers. At least you're going to be around truck drivers. Say you want to be in the NBA, you're probably going to want to try and practice or find people who are in the NBA you can play with. So your environment and who you hang around is everything. I can tell you that from experience. I've dealt with it. If you're hanging around a bunch of losers and a bunch of drug dealers and a bunch of people who ain't going nowhere in life, you're not going nowhere in life. Okay. I've seen it a million times. I walk around and see it all the time. Change the people you're around. Who are you around? Who are the people you're around? Look around you and see who you are, because that's going to tell you exactly who you are. If you're around a bunch of drug addicts, if you're around a bunch of pedal pushers, if you're around a bunch of millionaires, I would say the best thing to do if you want to be wealthy is to go find where the wealthy people hang out. Go hang out there. You don't got to talk to them right away. It is good to talk to them. I make sure when I want to get out and go out and hang around and get wealth around me, I go to like go have an expensive dinner somewhere and to go sit at the bar, and I'll strike up a conversation with whoever's next to me, and I'll be like, hey, how you doing? And they're very friendly, very nice, and I'm like, what do you do? And I'm the CEO of this, or I'm the co-founder of this, or I'm this, and or go to a golf resort, and hang out there, and just, you don't got to play golf. You can just walk around, or you can hit some balls here or there, but go to a golf resort, like a ritzy one where wealthy people are. Go to one in Beverly Hills. They're not going to stop you from walking in there. Walk in there and start talking to them and find out who people are, and you can start talking. It'll be very easy. So find your environment and go into that environment and get to know people. Next one is going to be the mindset shifts required to building wealth, the habits millionaires think differently about, and the mental mistakes keeping most people broke. How to train yourself to think like a high achiever. Some of those things are kind of cliche. I know it's, you know, trying to train yourself to be a high achiever. We can all say and repeat this to ourselves, but to be honest, it is true. And it is on a level where you want to actually focus on what it is you want to do. Talk to yourself about that every day before you go to bed. I always go in my head and say, okay, what do I want to accomplish the next day? Can I do that today? Can I get done today when I want to do tomorrow? No, if I can get it done today, I can do it today. Write out a sheet and have everything laid out. You want to be able to talking to yourself all the time. I've had to do things where I've had to let friends go that weren't on the same level as me or doing the same things I did in order to get to that next level. And I can tell you that's going to get you there quickly. As far as the immediate pressure, short term comfort, you're going to have to give up those quick fixes. Delayed gratification is so important. You don't have delayed gratification is so important when you want to reach your goal, whether it's financial, whether it's delayed gratification of, okay, I'm not going to go out tonight, whether it's delayed gratification of you want to lose weight. I'm not going to eat that pizza, or I'm not going to, drink any alcohol, or you have to be disciplined in yourself. Yeah, it's more fun to drink alcohol and eat pizza and go out and hang out and party and spend money. But you can do that later on. And I'm not saying cut yourself from it completely, but right now you're focused on reaching your goal. Cut that stuff out. Cut it out. Okay, and that's quick entertainment. Instant gratification is a killer. And that's something we're dealing with a lot now with instant gratification. Instant gratification is something where we get it on our phones. It's mapped into us. We don't have much patience. We want to get to it right now. If you can master that and change that to delayed gratification, you're going to be ahead of so many people, because it's almost like our technology is training us to want things right now, instant, instant. And things don't necessarily come like that. People who are patient and can understand that things take time, and things might take time to turn over, and it's not going to be done in a minute, you're going to be so much further ahead than everybody else, because everybody else is going to get frustrated and they're going to quit, and you're going to keep going, right? We want long term freedom. At the end of the day, we want that long term freedom that's going to come with that success and that delayed gratification. Think of that as your motivation. Think of that as time goes on now. Once you reach your goal, whatever it is, you're going to have the freedom to do what you want later. We're talking in finance. So, finance, if you're financially free, you don't have any debts, you don't have any credit cards, you can be financially free. You don't have to worry about, you know, working every day, waking up, having to work to pay that credit card. Cause trust me, I've been there before. It's terrible. Now, let's go to the next thing. Now, wealth is usually built slowly. The most millionaires, and people don't know this, most millionaires are teachers. Oh my gosh. Most millionaires are teachers. And people say, well, the teachers, like, yeah, most millionaires are teachers, and the teachers are millionaires because they build their wealth through their 401ks. They have low spending habits. They're very family oriented. They deal with delayed gratification. They have a very simple life, and they don't overspend. It's just some statistic with teachers where they don't feel like they have to ball out or show off. They're not up and down. They're very, and they can take extra jobs on the side during the summer. So it's teachers, they build their wealth slow. I want to build my wealth quickly. And that in order to build that wealth quickly, you're gonna have to start a business, or you're gonna have to flip real estate, or you're gonna have to get into something like that. But you can build it slowly depending on how you want it. If you want it quickly, you're gonna have to jump into your own business. Let's say this: millionaires sacrifice now and gain later. Uh, that's true. That's true. Like I said earlier, delayed gratification. Okay, the importance of patience in a business and investing. So that's true. I've been running my business for about 15 years now, and I can tell you the first couple of years I ran my business, I made nothing. I think the first year was 2007 or 2000, something like that. I didn't make Me and my friend, we made, I think, $900. And then the year after that, I think we made even less. But then it started to snowball, got up to, 1,000, 200, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, and then so on. So it is a snowball effect, and it is hard work, and it does take years to get there. But depending on how you want to do it, you can get there. Just stay focused. Um, let's see here. Next, we'll talk about athletes training behind the scenes. Now, everybody sees an athlete and sees how wealthy they are. Trust me, it took them more than they weren't millionaires overnight. Okay, they provide a service where they play basketball, they play football, they train for years, they train forever, and they get there by hard determination. Now, why did they go broke so quickly? Well, I think we all know the answer to that. Athletes, they typically go broke 5 years after they retire from playing basketball or playing football. Baseball players are a little better about that. Just I don't know what it is. Maybe they're a little smarter with their money. But the simple fact of the matter is, you spend more than what you bring in, and you have this lifestyle of blowing so much money so fast. You blow all your money, you can't sustain that lifestyle. That lifestyle of going out, spending money, popping bottles. You need to learn how to tone it down and live below your means. Very few people can do that. I know it's harder when you're coming in as an athlete and you didn't have anything. Now you've come up, you've got everything, you've got all this entourage you need to show off, and you got all these people asking you for money. You need to take care of all these people. I'm telling you right now, cut them off because trust me, soon as you don't have that money anymore, those people are going to be gone. Who's there when you were broke? That's what you need to remember. Okay, so yeah, entrepreneurs work for years before success. We've covered that already. Athletes training behind the scenes. We've covered that. Investors compounding money over decades. That's basically just compound interest. Investors going into like a Robinhood or something like that, and just doing that S&P 500. S&P 500 is the best investment I've ever seen. Don't take my advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but S&P 500, I put like $500-600 in there every month, and I don't think I've ever lost money in that thing. I think I'll come in like 3 or 4 months later, and it'll be up another $200. So S&P 500's always been good for me. There are a few different ones. Vanguard, I'm not saying that one is the one to get, but you can look at all of them and just research it online. I've always had good things about S&P 500s and also the I bonds. If you want to throw your money in something, an I bond, go to treasury.com, I think it is. Put five, I think the most you can put in there is 10 grand into an I bond. You're going to get an automatically 5% interest on there. That's better than throwing it into a savings account. Savings account gives you 0.007. And banks typically, what they do is when they have your money in a savings account, they take your money and they put it in an I bond and they get 5%. So they're getting 4% off of and paying you. They're getting 5% and they're paying you 0.001%. So trust me, savings, no good. Okay, so next here we're gonna ask this question. What are you going to do today that the future self of you will think about? So what are you doing today that's gonna change your future? What are you doing today that's gonna change your future? Um, are you investing? Are you planning to get married? Are you going on a diet? What is it exactly that you want to do to actually change your future? Now, this can go back and forth depending on what you want to get done. Now, what's most important to you right now? Is it your finances? Is it getting out of debt? Is it losing weight? Now we can switch. I know this is a financial channel and we talk about finances, but we can switch that around to other things because other things are going to be motivational for you. What is it that you want to attain right now? Do you want to attain uh, financial freedom? I know a big topic right now is going to be student loans. Student loans. Don't expect the government to ever help you there. They're going to find a way to act like they're helping you. They're not really helping you. If they really wanted to help you, know what they could do? They can make student loans, make it to where you could bankrupt student loans off of your credit if you really wanted to. Because they could do that. They could easily say that, but they don't want to help you. They want to actually keep you in that student loan debt. I don't care which administration it is. Neither one wants to help you. So just focus on trying to get your student loans paid off, get your credit cards paid off, live below your means, whatever it is, sell that overpriced car. You don't want the high insurance and the car payments. Get you a roommate, whatever it is you need to do to sacrifice for the next year to 5 years. Do that because then you'll have your financial future. I've known I did that before at one point. I think when I was younger, back when I was 25, I made the decision that I was going to get out of debt completely, and I did not want to deal with it anymore. I didn't want to deal with any credit cards. I didn't want to deal with anything. I sold my car. I moved into a room. I rented a room, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to stay here until I get to this amount financially, and I can live off the interest. And that was my goal. And I ended up attaining it for a little while. Ended up getting divorced and then having to start over a little bit. But I did get to that point, and I can tell you, I know what it takes to get there. I've had to make the sacrifice. Trust me, I've done it before. Okay, expensive cars versus income producing assets. I think we know about that. Get rid of the expensive cars, guys. You don't need the expensive cars. Designer clothes versus investments. I've never been into clothes. I always felt like if you could wear clothes and work out, you'll make the clothes look good. That was a kind of a mindset thing for me, and okay, it got me into the gym, and at the same time, it made it to where I didn't feel like I had to spend money on clothes or nice designer clothes. So I'm like, okay, let me make sure my body looks good and make sure the shirts look good on my body and make sure the pants look, legs look good in my pants. And you know what? I'll work out. And guess what? People won't even pay attention to the type of clothes I got on. I can tell you right now, I still got clothes from college. I still got shirts from college I still wear. And that's because I stayed in shape. And that was kind of one of those things that saved me money and kept me healthy at the same time. So I'm not really into designer, but if you're into designer, those types of things, delayed gratification, I'm not saying you don't ever want to get it. What I'm saying is that earn the right to be able to buy that. Like if you want to buy a $3,000 purse or a $500 shirt or whatever it is, or a $6,000 watch or a $30,000 watch, earn it. Earn the right to do that. Go to work, save up, do it the right way, and then pay yourself. And that could be your little reward. Why wealthy people often live below their means initially. Now, from my perspective, I've seen wealthy people always living below their means. And below their means can mean different things for different people. What is your below your means? Is your below your means living with a roommate, or is your below your means living in a one-bedroom apartment? Is your below your means living in a five-bedroom house? Or is your below your means having one house or having 10 house? Everyone is different. Everyone is different. But what that typically means is, hey, when my check comes in, I have plenty money to save. I have plenty money to pay my bills. I have plenty money to invest. And guess what? I have plenty money to take care of myself, and it doesn't bother me. If I ended up losing my job tomorrow, I'd be fine for at least 3 or 4 years. That's really living below your means. Okay, so next, social media flexing culture. I've never been a fan of this flexing on social media, showing off your. There was somebody that just got killed yesterday. Yesterday, he was murdered. He was showing off cash at like his prom or something, and we're not sure completely if that's the reason why they murdered him. But he was taken out because he was out and he was showing cash and flashing it on the screen, and then they figured out where he was, and they came and they found him, and I don't know if they robbed him. It's not completely clear yet, but there's many examples of people showing off their money, showing off their jewelry, showing off those things on screen, and somebody robbing them. So you want to be careful. I would say stay away from social media flexing, specifically showing money off. That's what the issue is. If you want to show your lifestyle and show you're having fun, that's different. But showing off money, don't do that. Please, guys, don't do that. Why wealthy people often, oh, we already talked about that. Okay, examples of assets. So we're going to talk a little bit about assets right now. We're going to go through this very quickly. Assets, business, real estate, stocks, online platforms, intellectual property, skills that generate income. So, having a business is definitely an asset. Just remember, you're going to be working in that business. Trust me, I have a business, I work in it all the time. It's an asset, but it's an asset you're going to have to keep up. Next is going to be real estate. That's an excellent asset. A lot of people don't like real estate. I love real estate, specifically commercial real estate. What you want to do is you want to buy uh, a multifamily property, rent it out, and the money you make off the multifamily property, you can use it to pay for your rent or pay for your house or whatever it is. It's like, look, have your tenants pay for your lifestyle. It's such a good will, and then when you want to sell it, you sell it and you get your money back. So there's nothing. A lot of people are against buying property and renting it out and having to deal with tenants and all this stuff. But if you get good tenants and you get good at it, you're gonna smash the competition. Trust me. Stocks. I love stocks. Stocks. I've made so much money off of stocks, just taking that money and investing. And I think I did something like crazy. Like I, I got lucky on a stock or like a meme coin before. I'm not going to tell you which one, but I did very well. I just saw it and I just threw it in there. And then like a year later, it was like, I don't know, 1,000-fold or 2,000. Like I made so much money off of that, and it just happened to be that it was just a stock, and I randomly picked it. It was cryptocurrency, and I randomly picked it. Now I don't agree with investing in cryptocurrencies all the time. That's just it's a hit or miss type deal. But just stocks in general, you're gonna do well if you invest in stocks. Online platforms, yeah, I believe in online platforms. I have online platforms. I have a host of different um online courses. You got to make sure it's a very good online course. You got to make it a very good online platform, something that provides value. If it provides value, people get on there. They're going to love it. You're going to make money off of it. It's a great asset. Intellectual property, that's anything like this, like YouTube, running YouTube pages, social media, making money off of those things. It usually takes a little while, but once it gets going, that's your intellectual property that's going to bring you money all the time. So you want to develop these different forms of payment to yourself and generating skills that generate income. That's any type of skill you can have. Maybe you're a good editor. Maybe you're good at, you know, building computers, fixing computers, whatever it is. That's going to be a income generating asset. Okay. So money should work for you. That again goes back to the stock market. That's good. Every dollar should have a job. So when you have your money and you look at your money, it's best to count every penny. I count every penny. Every penny I get, I count it. I literally have I literally have a little bank thing where I put every penny I have. I know how much money's in there. I count it and I count every penny. Every I put a penny in there, I put on there, okay, I have this much money in my my change jar or this like this. Like I keep track of all this stuff. And it's very important to do that as a practice because it's going to keep you in a loop of keeping up with your money. Like I said, and if you've had watched other episodes of this, I have a list of an Excel sheet with all my expenses, with all my assets, with all everything that I need to pay. And I make sure I have ones that are consistent expenses that I have to pay every month, and what are the things I need to cut out. Now, there are great apps you can get that'll do this for you. I specifically like Excel just because I can pull it up and it shows me everything. Now, I have apps too, like Rocket Money or whatever it is, and those are good for letting you know the subscriptions you have in case you want to get rid of something and you don't want it. It's also good at negotiating stuff. You can hit the button and then it'll go negotiate for you and drop a bill some or get them to, I don't know how it does it, but it's very good at that. And it's also very good at tracking your net worth. Now, when I go into talking about tracking net worth, you should always track your net worth. That's going to be the truth teller. That's going to be assets versus liabilities. How much debt do you have versus how much cash and other assets you have, and that's going to tell you what your wealth is. And that's what that app is good for. Have that app set up, and you can look directly at your net worth, and you can see where you're at. So very, very good as far as letting you know your net worth. Okay, so let's compare. Someone spends $800 a month on luxury payments, and someone spends $800 a month investing. That's a no brainer. Who's going to come out on top? The person taking $800 a month in investing. So the money, I would say, lay out and see what you're spending money on. Now, what's a luxury payment? Now, a luxury payment to me would be Starbucks. And I know you're saying Starbucks is a dollar. No, no. Starbucks is $8. What's the harm in that? $8 a day. What's the big deal? That $8 can be going into an investment account. It could be adding compound interest. And what's another little thing you might have a luxury spend? A luxury car. Maybe you have a luxury car. Maybe you have high taste in eating at a certain restaurant. I would say until you get to a certain amount where you feel like you're wealthy and you can do these things, and the most important thing, you can live off the interest of your money. That is the ultimate goal. You can take the interest money that's not even yours and use that to buy your luxuries. So, say a coffee is $7. What investment or what asset or what can you purchase that actually brings you $7 every day? You could take your money and you could buy again the bubblegum machine. You buy the bubblegum machine, and this is just an example. You buy a bubblegum machine. The bubblegum machine brings you, after spending money on having somebody fill the bubblegum machine and spending money on the bubblegum, you bring about $50 a month. So you take that divided by 30, that could be your $7 or whatever it is. That could be your cup of coffee. So now you have an asset paying for your cup of coffee in passive income. So whatever that number is, whatever it comes out to. So you want to get to that type of way of spending money. And it can seem hard to do that at first just because you have to break old habits, but it's very possible. Trust me. Okay, so reading books. I'm going to show you a book that I love. This book is one of the best books I've ever read as far as investing. I would say I definitely highly recommend reading this book. And I recommend reading it because it gave me a great idea of how when I made money off of that coin or that Dogecoin or whatever it was, or like um I forgot what coin it was, but I invested low and made high returns. And it was off of the concept of, okay, so it tells this concept of walking down the street. So picture this, you're walking down the street and you like cigarettes, you smoke cigarettes, but you don't have any money for cigarettes, but you see cigarette butts on the ground. Like, this is disgusting. Okay, don't ever actually do this. But you see cigarette butts on the ground. Okay, you go, you pick a cigarette up, a butt off the ground, you take a hit, you throw it out. You see another cigarette butt. You take it up, take a hit, throw it out, another cigarette butt. So what you're doing ultimately is it costs you nothing, but you're getting free hits of cigarette off the butts that people threw on the ground. So that is an investment, or a great investment, because the investment didn't cost you anything. Now, don't actually do it because you're going to catch hepatitis or whatever it is if you actually did that. But it's just the concept of doing something like that. So make sure when you do investing, you want to invest in something that's going to be crazy. Make sure it's something where you wouldn't lose any money. Like, okay, a low risk, high reward. There's investments out there that are like that, to where you could put nothing in there, and if you lose a dollar or lose $10 or lose $100, but if it hits, you'll make 1,000. That is one of the best concepts I ever thought of, and it seems like it's a simple concept, but it's something that you just don't think about. So this book has that type of knowledge in it, and I know I simplified it, but great, excellent book. Another excellent book I read right here. Seven Habits of Highly Efficient People. This is a great book. Also, I would recommend reading this book. Um, it'll keep you motivated and keep in your mind the importance of discipline and forming the habits necessary to reach all your goals. I would say give this book probably an 8 out of 10. Definitely read that book. And I want to show you a different book. Another pretty good book. I don't know if it's down here. Oh, yes. This is a good book to read. And it's an easy book to read. As a Man Thinketh. This is a very thin book. And you know what? It's another book about the mindset. So you want to have the right mindset. This book is like, I think a $2, $3. It don't cost anything. And look how small it is. You can read it in like an hour. Not even an hour, like 30 minutes, you can get through it. And it's a good book and it's straight to the point. It teaches you to have that right mindset to where you want to think, to get to where you want to go in the future. So basically, I'll give you an idea of what it says. It says something like, okay, and this goes with the mindset. Where do I want to live in the future? What type of house do I want to have? I want to live like this, XYZ. Okay, now I need to put in my head, how would I live like that? Like, would I have a pool? Would I have um, would I have a dog? Would I have those types of things? So, what you have to do is an exercise in your mind. You have to imagine, okay, what type of job would I have? Would I have this type of job? Would I have this type of living? Would I have this type of person around me? What are the type of people I'm dealing with? You want to have that type of setup when you're going into this lifestyle and thinking this way. And eventually, when you're working towards that goal, it eventually happens. And I know it's kind of a far-fetched concept, but I it until you're already there. So as a man thinketh, definitely get this book, read it, and keep that concept in your mind. Okay, so next we got reading books. Learning sales. Nobody likes to do sales, but you have to learn it. And learning sales is basically just talking to people. All you got to do is just talk to people, get to know them. You got to get used to talking to people. And guess what? Become sincere, make friends. And that's pretty much what sales is. That's going to be communication skills, business knowledge, networking, financial literacy. Now, we covered those things. Okay, let's ask another question. Why information changes income, learning high income skills. All right. And we go into the concept of what's next here, the value of mentorship. Now, I'm going to tell you this and mentorship, and I'm going to speak sincerely about this because I've seen the value of mentorship shoot people so high. It got me so much further so quickly. And it'll get you to that financial status or that body you want as quickly as anything else. Now, when I say mentorship, I mean you want to find somebody that's already plugged in. One mentor I had, which I ended up kind of falling out with, was mentoring commercial real estate. Now, the reason why this mentor was so good is because he was able to tell me what mistakes to avoid, how to get to this point. Why? Because he had already dealt with it, he had already been through it. And most importantly, he introduced me to his network. When he introduced me to his network, that was a huge deal just because simple fact that these people had the money necessary to be able to purchase $3 million apartment buildings. They had plenty of money available. There were big corporations that were able to take it and hand you money and say, hey, go buy this from me. And you get $100,000 commission. It was a huge deal in just meeting the right mentor. Now, your mentor, you can meet the wrong mentor. It's all in choosing the right mentor. That is huge. Next, get a great mentor, guys. Whatever business you're in, make sure you have a good mentor. If you're gonna read books, make sure I try and read a book a week. I am not doing that well at it right now. I'm kind of slouched on it a little bit. Maybe it takes me like 2 weeks just because I've been so busy with other things. But try and read a book a week. Try and read a book a week. But most likely it's going to be 2 weeks if you're busy. Replace social media scrolling with learning. We all want to do that. How easy is that? Turn your social media off. Turn your social media off. Your income grows to a level of your mindset and skills. Now, that's true. Your income does grow according to your mindset and your skills. and also the discipline you put into it, because you're going to get out of it what you put into it. Next. So now, why consistency beats talent? That is so true. Consistency beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So if you can stay consistent on things, I know me, I'm just starting out on this journey of going live on YouTube and going live on social media and just working on social media, period. I think a I just got an IG probably like a year and a half ago. Like, I just now getting into this, but I'm learning to be consistent with it. Even with all the things I have going on right now, I know consistency is key. I understand that because I've run a business. I understand you have to keep hitting that nail on the head. You have to keep going on it and it'll grow. That's just how it all works. Consistency is key, beats everything. Why most success looks boring at first. Most success looks boring at first because it is. You know why? Because nobody sees behind the scenes. Nobody sees me doing the editing. Nobody's going to see you working out. Nobody's going to see you um, working on your singing skills. Nobody's going to see you working on digging the holes. Nobody's going to see you building your empire at first. Nobody's going to see that at first. But eventually it comes along. And guess what? They're going to see the end result and think it happened overnight. Say, no, success happens overnight. Okay, showing up even when the results aren't immediate. Okay, you got to show up every day. I'm going to show up every day here no matter what. You got to show up. You got to actually do the best you can to actually get all this stuff done. I will always show up and make sure I do this. It'll eventually snowball and you'll get to that point. But show up every day, even with nobody there, even with it costs nothing. You got to show up every single day and you'll get it done. Okay, going to the gym consistently. Okay, the gym is so important in your journey of finance, and a lot of people don't talk about this. So I have a gym channel. I also have a workout channel. I have it on. It's probably more popular on TikTok, but I have definitely a gym channel where I actually go and I work out, and I show my workouts. The workout plays such a huge role in your discipline, because if you can work out and go to the gym on not necessarily every single day, but at least 3 times a week, work out consistently. That translates into your finances. That translates into your life. You just become a more solid person when you have that workout routine with you. And I'm passionate about that because I've seen it happen myself, to where implementing the gym, being healthy goes along with being successful. It's just part of you. And you don't want to be one of these people that actually is makes a ton of money, but their health fails. Because if your health is failing, guess what? You're broke. I don't care how much money you have. Health, money, wealth doesn't buy health. Let's put it that way. Okay. Business building daily. Fear, doubt, stress, rejection, criticism. Okay, so let's all address this. You might all have a fear in you: fear of failing, fear of looking silly, fear of being embarrassed. Guess what? It's going to happen anyways. So the question is, are you going to be able to get through it, or are you going to crumble and crawl up into a ball into the side corner and just say, I'm just going to take that L? No, fear, you got to be able to get through that. Doubt, this is all motivational talk. Doubt is all going to be there. I've had doubt about stuff. You know what? I push through it and I don't care. And then guess what? You look up and you're so much further ahead, just because so many people are going to fall by the wayside just of being scared and being doubtful of themselves. Stress. Now, to manage stress, we all manage stress different ways. I manage my stress by going to the gym. I go to the gym and I pump. Boom. I get that stress out, get that all that built up nerves and everything is in my body. I go to the gym and I work out and I get my muscle on. That actually gets rid of a lot of stress for me. Now, your stress reliever might be, listening to some nice calm music. Your stress reliever might be cooking, cleaning. Everybody's got stress relievers. Actually, another stress reliever for me is cleaning. But find your stress reliever and stay with it. Rejection. We're all going to get rejected. I get rejected all the time. Every time I've made phone calls to try and sell commercial property, I've gotten rejected. You're going to get rejected on a regular basis in anything. If you're not getting rejected, you're not doing anything. I can tell you that right now. Criticism. Criticism's going to come. You're going to get criticized, but that's life. You're going to get criticized. Everybody's going to talk about you. The more you're getting criticized, the more you're doing. Think about it. Think about the most famous people in the world, the most successful people in the world, the president of the United States, the artist that's the top artist in the world. They receive more criticism than anybody, no matter what they do. They could be doing the perfect job. They could be doing a terrible job. Whatever it is, they're going to get criticism either way. So criticism is going to come. Just think about it like this. The more criticism you have, the better you're doing. Okay. Okay, panic spending. Hopefully, you're not doing that. Please don't tell me you're doing this. Please don't tell me you're panic spending. Don't panic. Don't just spend just willy nilly just because you're panicking. Giving up too early. Okay, I heard this saying, and it's like this: if you go through it and you work hard at something and you never give up, you'll eventually succeed. I can attest that that's true. Maybe success won't look the way you thought it was going to look, but you'll get through it, even if it's ugly. I can say this: if I'm running and I fall down and I get up, I'm going to stumble over the finish line. And I may not look the best, it may not look the cleanest, but at least you finish. You want to keep going regardless of whether you're giving up, other people are giving up. You don't want to give up too early. Fear of investing, fear of failure. That goes in the same category. You can't be fearful of investing. You're gonna lose every once in a while. We all lose. I lose all the time, but guess what? And I lose more than I win. But when I win big. I can tell you this: a big Kobe Bryant had a saying. Kobe Bryant's saying was, "You know what? I swing big and I miss big, but when I swing big and connect, it's always a home run." That is so true. I swing big every time and I miss big. But guess what? When I connect, it's going out the park. Okay. Stay calm under pressure. I've gotten really good at that. Make sure you get used to staying calm under pressure. Now, the best way to figure out how to stay calm under pressure is to get under pressure. Get under pressure with somebody. Put yourself under pressure in some kind of way, and you'll get used to that pressure being on you. If you're not used to pressure being on you and all of a sudden you get hit with pressure, you're going to panic. And everybody panics. I panic. Everybody's panics. But the more you get used to being under pressure, the better you'll do. Uh, think logically, of course. Make decisions strategically. Now, we're going to move strategically and all this stuff. I understand that. That's going to be different for everybody else thinking strategically. Failure as a feedback. I always ask people for criticism. I say, hey, like this. Like last night, we finished our first phase of our medical app here in San Francisco with our team, and I have a great team around me. Make sure you build yourself a great team. You're not going to be able to do it by yourself. Get yourself surrounded with a great team. We finished our first medical app phase one. I'm very happy about it. I feel like it's going to revolutionize the medical field as far as connecting people, saving lives, making sure a healthcare professional stay connected. But I had to do that by forming a team. And now that we formed a team, we're going to get feedback, and we're going to get feedback from all the nurses and doctors. And guess what? We're asking for criticism. Tell us what you think. Don't tell us you love it and just tell us you're doing this. And no, what do you think about this app? Is it good? Is it terrible? Do we need to change something? Do you not like the colors? We don't want to hear the fake, oh, it looks good. No, we want to hear negative things so we know what to do to fix it. Learn from your mistakes. We've all learned from those mistakes. Why rejection builds resilience. There's always reason why rejection builds resilience because you're used to being rejected. Guess what? The more you do something, the better you become at it. And we're going to do one last one. Why? No, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. We're going to do multiple income streams. So, the importance of multiple income streams. You must have multiple income streams in this day and age for the simple fact that we do not know what the future is going to hold. AI is coming. Me being in San Francisco right now, even though me being in San Francisco right now, I can say this: I see what's going on, and I see the technology that's coming out. I have friends that worked at Google, Facebook, and I've seen them get hired, and I've seen them get fired. So it's a stressful process, and I understand being optimistic, but don't put your head in the ground. Understand that I believe that coding, these types of things, programming is going to be gone for the most part. The jobs that are going to be here are going to be completely different, and it's going to be less people working, and you have to figure out where you fit in that mold, and you can build multiple streams of income using AI. Now AI is a wild west right now, which means it's all over the place. You're going to have to learn how this works, learn how this works. AI agents, it's just an overload. It's like drinking out of a fire hose. It's like, what's going on? How does this work? How does this work? AI. So I would say dive into AI as much as you can. You can become a millionaire overnight if you know how to use AI correctly. It's that type of craziness right now, using AI as a tool. So make sure you do that. Uh, thank you all for stopping in today. I appreciate the likes. See yourself as a millionaire in the future as quickly as possible, and you will attain it. Good night or good day.